everyone, Kathy the Vegan Prepper here, and recently I reordered some of our most used essential oils, and I figured I would go ahead and share with you guys what are some of the ones that we're actually using enough that we replace. I feel like it's good info. Let's go ahead and get into it. Vegan Prepper. Vegan Prepper. Okay, so I do have a rather large essential oil collection. I don't know if I should show you how big it is. I guess, you know, for me it's large. Other people might say that's amateurish, but for me it's a huge collection. Yeah, I'll go ahead and show you really fast and we'll get back to this. Okay, so like many people, I actually started off as part of an MLM, and from all the brands on my oil shelf there, you can probably tell which MLM I was part of. Now, I don't believe that you have to be part of an MLM. There's plenty of really high quality essential oils out there. You don't have to be with only one certain company. The second somebody starts shitting on you about which company you should be with, that is probably a point at which you might be wise to do some research and shop elsewhere. You don't have to be part of one of these companies. I don't think that there's any like magical fairy dust that gets sprinkled into certain essential oils over others. Like I said, high quality products across the board. Well, not across the board, but certain ones. And for me personally, like all of these are from Rocky Mountain Oils, and that is a source that I trust, that it seems to be a really good company. And so I shop with them. They have a huge selection. You don't have to be part of any kind of membership, and I just like that. One of the companies I really do want to try, and this is where I'm asking you a question now, if you have ever tried Mountain Rose Herbs essential oils, let me know down in the comments below, because I'm really curious about trying them. They have a lot of really great prices, and I also trust that company. That's the company I get a lot of my, or actually the vast majority of my purchased herbs come from Mountain Rose Herbs. So I know I said I was going to talk about this, but just briefly, let me talk to you about why essential oils might be really awesome to have specifically for preppers. Specifically from a prepping standpoint, essential oils have a really long shelf life, like really long. Some people say they never expire. I don't know that that's true, but we're talking anywhere from 5 to 10 years. It's a highly concentrated form of plant medicine. You know, you use just a tiny bit, it lasts for a really long time. It makes it extremely portable. They are powerfully effective. I don't think that they are as miraculous as a lot of what you see online claiming about essential oils. So there are definitely some reasons to keep them on hand. I think too, for instance, like we may have, if you've watched any of my other herbal videos, we talked about like herbs have kind of a much shorter shelf life. Whereas essential oils have a much longer shelf life. So for things, say like cinnamon or even peppermint, there's even like cilantro or lime essential oils, and you could use tiny amounts of that in cooking, like for flavoring. And so it's potentially a way of also stocking up on flavorings that will last for a very long time. Although I know that there's, you know, a lot of, you know, and it's true, you shouldn't be using essential oils internally, like en masse, but we will talk. There's one essential oil I do use internally, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, but we'll get to it when we get to it. But like if we're talking like one drop in an entire pot of soup, that's not like dangerous levels of essential oil consumption in my mind. Like what's the difference between that flavoring and the flavoring that like manufacturers use? Okay, anyway, I'm talking too much about this. So, but I will say too, in my everyday personal life, I'm focusing mainly on whole herbs, whole herb remedies, whether that's tinctures or teas, or even just powdering herbs and taking them like a balled up pill or whatever. So that is definitely my focus, is more on the whole herb because they're much more sustainable, but I do have my essential oils kind of as a backup and for certain things. So all that being said, my gosh, let's get into the actual oils. Finally, I just dropped it. So first up, we've got lemon. So I've got 2 of these because we do tend to go through lemon. I use it as primarily as kind of a cleaning agent. There's almost nothing on earth that is better at dissolving like adhesive on things. Say you buy something, you have a sticker and there's that bit of adhesive that just will not come off. Lemon will take it off very well. I know some people say that any oil works, even olive oil works. Not like this. This is like, it dissolves it. It doesn't just move it. This is also excellent for getting Sharpie off of anything. Plastic, glass, whatever. Just a tiny bit of this will get Sharpie off and it's fantastic. So I really do love lemon primarily for that kind of cleaning application, which is again why I got 2 of them, because I use more of this than probably a lot of others. However, I also really appreciate its scent. It's an uplifter to the mood, like aromatherapy. Aromatherapy is actually a very real thing. It lifts the mood if you like the scent. So like, for instance, if you hate the smell of lavender, that's not going to make you feel less anxious. If you're like, no matter how, like, it does have a certain calming effect, but it's like whatever emotion gets triggered for you by smell, that's kind of how aromatherapy will work. It ends up being a little bit personal in that way. So lemon is, I just dropped it again. Oh my gosh. Lemon ends up, the one I have left, ends up being one that is almost universally uplifting. There's almost nobody who doesn't like the smell of lemon. One thing I will also say about lemon is when I make my homemade Vicks recipe, lemon goes in there. Lemon is also, you can dilute it and apply it to the chest along with things like eucalyptus or frankincense, and then that will help almost any cough that you have on the chest, and even like on the back, kind of where the lungs are. You can massage it in and that can help a lot with coughing. And so that's another great way to use lemon. Fortunately, we don't have to use it that often for that, but that is one of the other main uses that I use lemon for. Oh, and lemon, along with almost all citrus oils, has like potential photosensitivity in the sun. So if you do end up using it as a treatment on your skin, make sure that you do not expose that skin to sunlight for at least 12 hours. So yeah, that's basically it. This one's lavender. Lavender is fantastic. This is one of the few essential oils that is gentle enough that you can typically use it neat, meaning without dilution. Even though dilution, it's still great and it'll last you longer. So there's almost no reason not to dilute it. But one of my favorite remedies with the lavender we've been using in our house since my son was very little. I read at some point that lavender itself has some natural antihistamine in it. So anytime anybody has allergies or sniffles related to allergies, we just take a little bit of lavender and put it on the nose and it starts clearing up that whatever it is pretty quickly. It works very well. So this is definitely something that I use. And almost always it will take care of whatever allergy thing is going on without having to resort to actual medication. Lavender, I mean, this is like, it's huge. I'm going to forget half the stuff that we do it with, but like, it's almost like if you could only have one, get lavender. It's also fantastic for burns. This is what we've seen in our house, how incredibly effective it is. If you get a burn, if you can get lavender on that burn as quickly as possible, it starts healing the skin, and oftentimes it won't even form any kind of like actual injured burn tissue, even though you know you burned yourself enough that there should be a burn there. If you put lavender on, a lot of times it won't even, like, it'll heal it so quickly that it won't even give you an actual burn. It's also fantastic for soothing things like blisters and other skin issues. It can potentially relieve anxiety and have a calming effect. It's good, like if you are having especially like it's calming for things like anxiety, like panic attacks, to sort of like rub it along your chest and rub it in your hands and smell it, and it can start to calm that, because it's almost like a sedative type thing. Like it'll calm those feelings if you're having any of those feelings, hyperactivity, whatever. It's also extremely relaxing, and it in and of itself is an excellent bug repellent. It's kind of expensive to use that way, but if all you have on hand is a little bit of lavender, just like one drop that you can rub into each arm or whatever exposed skin, you'll end up being protected from most mosquitoes. At least that's what I've seen in our lives. Like if all I had in my purse or my kit was lavender, like one time, my best friend's wedding, it was at twilight in the middle of a forest in August here. So it was definitely mosquito season. Everyone was being eaten alive, but the people that accepted the lavender that I had, and I said, hey, if you put a little bit of lavender on, you'll be fine. And those of us that did it didn't end up with a single bite, but like tons of other people did. It was very sad. But yeah, lavender can be great for all that too. Like I said, I know I'm forgetting a whole bunch of stuff, but lavender is one of those ones, again, I just kind of would not be without. This is an essential oil for us. I forgot more lavender. This is probably going to be the first of many extra takes for lavender. But basically, this is also excellent for relieving gas and for relieving cramps, like period cramps over like your lower belly. But as a warning, if you're going to be using it for helping to relieve gas, it doesn't make the gas disappear. It makes the gas spring forth. So if you are in public or at work, that might not be the best gas remedy. Ask how I know. Okay, now peppermint. This is the one that I do internally, and I know people are going to be like, you can't take your oils internally, but let me tell you. So for instance, if you have upset stomach, nausea, a lot of times it's enough just to open the bottle and smell, and that will relieve a lot of nausea. It'll help you feel good, but if it's not quite working, what I like to do is take it, you like just open it and don't do full drops. A lot of times too, like even like when I was talking about putting lavender on the nose, it's not a full drop. You go like this, turn the bottle upside down, even like wipe your finger across the top, get just the smallest film on your finger, and I put it up at the roof of my mouth, and then press my tongue up. Sorry, that was disgusting, seeing the underside of my tongue. But you put it up at the very roof of your mouth and push your tongue against it. And so for one, it like fogs your whole head. So if you're having extreme sinus issues or a headache or something, or the nausea, upset stomach, whatever, it starts to really give you relief almost right away. And I mean, it was just like a tiny glaze of peppermint essential oil. And I understand this is not ideal, but this is like for, you know, where you would normally pop, you know, some sort of pill, or you'd take Pepto-Bismol, or you'd take something. And I feel like a tiny glaze of an, you know, all natural, like organic essential oil is better for me than some over-the-counter medicine, like taking a tablespoon or two of that. And so this is definitely not like common practice, but this is kind of almost like an emergency practice. But like I said, it even helps like with sinus pressure, headache. It just, you might need a little extra for that, but it'll like I said, fog out your whole head, and then you don't have to take whatever Sudafed or like whatever it is you normally take. I feel like personally, like you have to assess your own risk. So I'm not like saying you absolutely should do this, but for me personally, I feel like this is less detrimental occasionally than an over-the-counter drug. Like if this works, why not do this? Now, if I'm at home and I have time, obviously I'll brew like peppermint tea, but if I'm not home, and I have this in my purse, this is what I'm talking about, like kind of portable uses. So you can dilute this quite heavily because it stings, and use it as a headache remedy. So that would be like on your temples right here. And I mean like here, back here, okay? Nowhere near your eyes. If you ever get essential oils in your eyes, do not wash them out with water. Get another oil, like a carrier oil, even olive oil. Do not wash your eyes out with water because it can drive the oils deeper into your skin and make it even more annoying. This is where it's like really careful. Like if you're doing a headache remedy on your temples, and I say your temples, I mean like back by your hairline, like back here is where you put it, nowhere near here, okay? Because also you start getting here, see here, look at these beautiful lines. They're like beautiful because I've lived a good life, so I have all these smile lines. But look, they're like perfect little channels. If you get the tiniest bit of oil here, it'll just go right into your eyeball. Ask me how I know. So anyway, just be very careful to put it way back there. And also knowing, do not put water in your eyes, only use like a clean oil, like a fractionated coconut oil or sweet almond oil or whatever carrier oil you have to get oil out of your eyes, if that should happen to you. You can also use that same kind of diluted blend to do a topical rub of your tummy area, like if you're having nausea or whatever. But actually a lot of times, like this is something that we have in the car a lot for road trips or for going somewhere, if somebody's getting kind of car sick, just to smell, just like taking the bottle and smelling is usually enough to relieve almost any car sickness. So yeah, peppermint is a great one to have. So this is the final single oil of this collection. It's Clary Sage. It's fantastic. I think this is an oil that almost any woman should or needs to have. I'm like, you keep saying, I hate it when people shit on me. I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm just saying, like, every woman potentially would be wise to include this in their essential oil collection. So a little bit of diluted Clary Sage. I am not menopausal, or I don't think even premenopausal yet, but I am beginning to have certain symptoms during my my period. I actually also during like my cycle now, not even necessarily my period, I will get a hot flash at a certain point in my cycle, usually when I ovulate. Sorry if it's TMI, I'm just saying. It's funny, like we think of periods as the annoying part, but like women have to go through this entire hormonal arc that happens every month, right? And it changes at multiple points during that arc. Hormones crash or rise or whatever. And so this is a fantastic ally for me in my cycle personally. So when I get like that hot flash and almost nothing will relieve it, a little bit of diluted Clary Sage right on the back of my neck typically takes care of it. If I happen to know that I'm getting into the part where I'm going to be facing some of that, or I know I'm about to hit the point where I start having harder control over my emotions or my mood, the little bit of diluted Clary Sage, like in a few drops along my arm, and then just sort of like rub my arms together like this, just to kind of as a preemptive thing. And it really does seem to help quite a lot. So even if you're not like older, I don't think it's like specifically for older women, but I know that women who are menopausal get a lot of relief from hot flashes. But just in general, this is a really great hormonal helper for women. So that is one that I definitely have in my collection. It's funny, this is the first Clary Sage that I have purchased in probably 4 years. And the last one was just a bottle this size. So like I said, they last a really long time. Used wisely, used sparingly. So I think this might have been $36, and that seems like a lot of money to spend on a little bottle, but like I said, they last a really long time. And if it's helpful, it's like better than drugs, right? It's better than, you know, like something suffering. So, but yeah, for like 3 or 4 years, that's fantastic. So yeah, I think it's a really great amount of money to spend on a remedy that's going to last you for kind of a long time. So yeah, that's one that I really recommend for women in general to have on hand to help them through those hormonal highs and lows, which we totally go through. They are legit. They are real. We are not crazy. All right. This next one is one that I have replaced a couple of times. We did have the thing that shall not be named with the C hit our house. And so I was diffusing a lot of a Breathe blend, Breathe Ease, Breathe blend, like the original one I had from doTERRA. And I finally ran out of that. And so I got some of this from Rocky Mountain Oils, and I was diffusing this as well. And it works really well. It's got eucalyptus, 2 kinds of eucalyptus, spruce, myrtle, peppermint, ravensara, pine, and marjoram. Ravensara is not one that is commonly known, but I mentioned my homemade Vicks recipe earlier, which I should totally share at some point. I put ravensara in my homemade Vicks. So that is one that I discovered years and years ago to help with my son, who had some lung issues and now doesn't anymore. Thank God. But yeah, this was giving great relief. And again, I'm not like, it's like one of those things where I get worried, like, am I allowed to tell you that we got some great relief from this? Or am I going to get flagged like I'm giving like medical misinformation? I'm not trying to treat anything. I'm just letting you know this is something that helped us. Eucalyptus as well as bergamot. I remember from doing research when everything, the big thing that shall not be named, first started hitting, and I started doing research on essential oils, and obviously there was no not like I think it's going to cure things, but just like information. Like you look, you read through books. I read through studies and books. I found 2 oils that in particular were shown to be antiviral in the lungs. And so I feel like that's good information to have. I'm not saying it's a treatment. I'm just saying, like, if you need it, if it can help, why not try it? And the 2 essential oils were eucalyptus and bergamot. And so I was also diffusing that combination, and it was really helping, like, both my boys, it was my boys who got it. Both of them were experiencing relief. And then last year when Adam and I got it, I was diffusing and we were feeling some relief from that combination. So as an FYI, but also this seemed to help quite a lot. And so I don't know, maybe it could help you or give you some relief. Even though, like I said, I'm not saying it's a cure. I'm so sorry to be so like hemming and hawing. I definitely be smart and try to make sure you get adequate care. But this is like for at-home use. Like, this is a great thing to have on hand. So anyway, we love it. And then it's also fantastic for anything else. Like one of the main uses, for instance, like allergies, like I've mentioned, we do deal with allergies in this house. And so for my husband though, because everybody is different, the lavender thing just on his nose does not seem to work very well at all for him. He is he's my difficult one. Pretty much no remedy seems to work on him. It's like his body chemistry is so weird and so different from everyone else's in the whole house. It's like almost nothing seems to work on him. But one thing that does give him huge amounts of relief from allergies if he happens to be having an attack is to go get a shower. And this would work even like for if you have a cold or whatever. This is very helpful. And he puts about 5 to 10 drops in the base of the shower, and then puts the little drain plug in and lets the shower run with those drops coming through. So with all of that hot vapor as well as the essential oil at the same time, it gives him some really great relief from those kinds of symptoms. And that's also a great relief for other kinds of general cold symptoms. So this is a great one to have on hand. And I do really love this one just as much as I love the Breathe blend from doTERRA, but that one's really good. I don't know about the other companies because I haven't tried those. I'm sure they're fine too. But yeah, Breathe for replacing, to definitely keep this on hand in case we should need any more of it. Hopefully not. And this last one is called Bug Away. So this is what I have used now to make homemade bug spray. We were using TerraShield from doTERRA and it works pretty well. What I do love about this though is the one from Rocky Mountain Oils is not it's not an essential oil blend that's already in fractionated coconut oil. Some of their oils do come as a blend. So it's like, it's just some oil. It's like mostly fractionated coconut oil in the bottle with like however much essential oil in there, which can be handy because it's pre-diluted, but I tend to prefer to dilute it myself. But this, it's like you put 20 to 30 drops. I can't remember. The recipe is on the website under Bug Away, in like a 2-ounce spray bottle, along with, I think maybe a little bit of vodka and some water. And then you have a bug spray that you can use, and it is extremely effective. So we have a beautiful, lush, gorgeous garden in our backyard, and boy, do the mosquitoes love the crap out of my yard. So this is something that's super essential for us to always have something on us to protect us from all of the little creatures that want to just suck us dry. So I love to have this on hand, and then especially because it's not, you know, not chemicals. I mean, it is chemicals, but it's natural chemicals. It's plant chemicals. It's citronella, cedarwood, lavender, lemongrass, and thyme. So it's plant chemicals. So obviously if you use plants, you're not chemical free because you're using plant chemicals. That's the thing that makes them work, but it's not artificial chemicals. It's not spraying off on yourself and having whatever is in there leaching into your system, because your skin, of course, is the largest organ on your body, and whatever goes on your body ends up in your body. So I think especially for something like a bug spray or something that you're spraying on yourself all the time, if it's possible to make it more natural, that would be great. And what I love about this, again, it's super concentrated. This is going to make me a ton of bug spray before I run out. And yeah, so it's really essential to us to have a a bug blend type thing. Now you can make your own from a bunch of single oils and whatnot, but honestly, I just kind of don't remember. So certain ones like the Breathe, technically you can make your own blends, or the Bugway, but it's like they've done it for me and these are really good. They already work. So certain ones I do buy as blends. I tend to focus mostly on single oils. But yeah, some blends are really nice. All right, so that went a lot longer than I intended for it to, but hopefully it was still full of really great information and you enjoyed that and it was valuable to you. I'm curious, what are your favorite essential oils? There's definitely ones I didn't cover, like for instance, tea tree oil is one that I would replace nonstop. That's, you know, anti-infectious. It's great for wound healers. When I make my calendula salve using the calendula for my yard, both lavender and tea tree oil go into that salve, and it is one of the most powerful wound healers I've ever seen in my life. Tea tree oil is also another one that, like we mentioned, the stupid mosquitoes, if you forget to put your spray on, or if they find the one spot that you did not spray, like which they seem to do, tea tree oil, if you put it on a mosquito bite specifically, it makes mosquito bites like disappear, and maybe 10-15 minutes later put on a little bit more if it's still itching. But seriously, after like 2 or 3 applications, for us, what we have seen, it makes them literally disappear. Like you don't even have to deal with mosquito bites anymore once you've applied it enough. And so things like that. So yeah, are there any others that you have seen awesome stuff with that you would like to share in the comments below? And probably pretty soon, I am going to figure out if I could only keep, you know, so many essential oils, like which ones would I keep? Like in case you haven't ever even started your collection and you're wondering where to start, because it isn't necessarily, like I said, it's not cheap to get started. Some of those bottles can be expensive, but again, they last a really long time. So yeah, definitely let us know in the comments down below. What are some of your favorites? And also, like I said before, I asked if you have tried Mountain Rose Herbs essential oils. If you've tried them, what do you think about them? Anyway, all right, that's it. So as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Ow.
All right, so.
Ow.
Ow, ow.